Hey everyone, it's Michelle, the Dreaming Dilettante, and today I am making a reading journal with you. I was inspired by a video I saw over on Liberty's Library, and I'll link to that in the description box below, as well as the accompanying blog post. And in her video, she was journaling all the books that she had read in her reading journal. And I thought that was such a great idea, and it sounded like a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and make my own journal. The cover that you saw here, I have just had sitting on my shelf. I had started working on it and I never did anything else with it. You can see it has some of the DIY charms dangling from it that we made. And I decided to just add some plain paper. This is paper that I tore out of I think it's like a sketchbook that I got from the craft store, one of those big sketchbooks that they have. And I just tore out some of the paper and I'm using that. So it's nothing special, but I figured it'll take a little, maybe mixed media or some stickers or whatever I end up doing. And I just thought it would be fun to share with you the process of making this reading journal. And I thought it would be even more fun for us to journal in it as well. So I'm just sewing in my signatures now. Now I've gone into some more detail in other videos on how I make my journals. If you haven't seen that, I'll link to those in the description box below as well if you're not sure what I'm doing. This is just a basic 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I could have probably put in another signature or two, but I'm hoping to add a lot of bulk with whatever sort of things I'm going to be adding to the pages. So I think in the end it'll be fine. So I'm just going now and I'm adding some double-sided tape to the paper that I sewed all of my signatures into, and then I'm attaching that to the inside cover. And I had a little bit of an overhang there, so I just trimmed that off with my X-Acto knife, and I'm just putting some clips to let that dry. And then I'm taking some scrapbook paper that I had in my stash, and I'm going to add that to the inside covers. I didn't want to have it where the scrapbook paper was going to be on the crease, because then it just kind of lifts up when you're opening and closing the journal. So I decided to take some white duct tape that I had and just lay that down to sort of clean up that part of the journal. And then I'm going to put the scrapbook paper over top of it. And this is just a simple way. I'm terrible at measuring, so I really just wanted to make it simple. And so I just went ahead and added some double-sided tape around the perimeter, as you saw, and I'm using my Fabri-Tac glue to attach the scrapbook paper and then just trimming it with my craft knife. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the back of the journal, adding the double-sided tape and then the wet glue. The double-sided tape is nice because it gives a really strong hold, and then the wet glue going over top of it allows you to move the paper around a little bit should you need to. Otherwise, double-sided tape, it's kind of like whatever you stick to it is pretty much going to stay put. And so that can be frustrating when you're trying to put things down somewhat precise. And then that little gap there was still bothering me, and so I decided that I was going to add a little something extra, and I grabbed out my trim box and I found this pink trim, which actually I really just love that addition. Even if it didn't have the gap, I was really happy with it. And I just cut a little tassel, I guess, looking, a little V at the bottom just to add a little more interest to it. And I'm just loving how those color combinations, the pink on the scrapbook paper and then the pink with the ribbon, just looks really nice, I thought. So I added a little detail there, and I just put those clips on there because the cover was bowing out a little bit, so I'm just trying to help it sit. And then I decided I wanted to do something for the cover, and so I got out my stamps and I'm just writing reading journal. I wanted to put the date. I was thinking about putting my over the top, but I didn't do a great job stamping, so that wasn't going to really work. And I do want to put the year, but I think I'm going to wait until the journal's done, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the year afterwards so that I can see if it's a range. If I use it from this year to next year, I can, depending on how much space I use when I sit down and journal. So then I thought, I just couldn't stop, so I'm adding some book page because that just seemed appropriate. And then I decided to add some lace. The cover was looking a little boring, and I just wanted to add a little bit of something fun. So I went ahead and added lace all the way around to the 4 corners, just on the front. And I had thought about putting things in the corners, like maybe putting a button or something, but once I got the lace all around, I just really loved. This just feels like a cozy read to me, and that was what I was going for. And I really wanted to use that book plate, but in the end, it just didn't work out. So here is the final journal. I am really happy with how this turned out. It was just a simple, basic journal to make, but they're so much fun, and you can really customize this. So if you wanted to have one for different themes and different stories, you absolutely could. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. And as always, I appreciate you so much for stopping by my channel. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.